Excel tutorial. In this video, I will explain how to create and use pivot table when analyzing data on Microsoft Excel. All right, let's get started. For this exercise, we've got a sales data from a sales department. From left, we got a column for date, month, regions, different sales reps, different items that were sold, number of units, unit cost, unit price and total price, and then a column for profit. Before we create a pivot table, let's define the requirement or what we want to calculate in our pivot table. So for this first example, we want to see total profit that was earned by a different sales rep in different regions. Right, so to create a pivot table, click on insert and then click on pivot table. So you first make sure you select your data range. So to do that, you click here and then highlight your data range. So our data is column A to column K and until row number 44. You do that, and then secondly, you can create this pivot table onto an existing sheet by selecting the location here. But if you haven't already got a sheet, which we haven't got in our case, we can just create a new sheet by clicking here. So now we got our pivot table. As per our requirement, we want to calculate total profit. So what we can do is we can drag total profit from this criteria list and then move into values. So that means is this will then sum up all of the profit into one cell. Now additionally, what we can do is we can now add additional rows and columns to our pivot table. So as we had said that we wanted to calculate total profit by individual sales rep, so we can add sales rep into our rows. So we got a row for each individual sales rep, and then we can add region into column, which was our second requirement. So now we got a pivot table by region in column, and we got rows in the we got sales rep in the rows. So now we can also add filters. So let's say we want to calculate sales by different items. So let's say we can add items into filters, and then we can select either multiple criterias or just one. So let's say we want to calculate just desk as an item. So this is the performance for this desk as an item, or we can select desk and pen. So we can select multiple criterias or just one, up to the requirement. Another thing that I find very useful about pivot tables is that you can double click onto a number on your pivot table and you can see detail of all of the different information that is making up that number. So for example, we clicked into this number and we can see different orders that was making up that number on the pivot table. We can repeat that for any different number. This is something that I find very useful. Let's create another table with the different requirements. So if you want to create a new pivot table, you go back to your data, click on to, you can do another way. So you can highlight your data and then create pivot table. So what it does is already auto selects your data range, and then in this case we will create this on an existing worksheet, which will be the other sheet that we created for the earlier pivot table. So we go on there and we select a cell. This is where the pivot table will be created. So we got our second pivot table. In our second pivot table, We want to calculate the total price by different months and by different items. To do that, we will move month to the column, price to the values, and items to the rows. Here you go. So we got our pivot table, we got month on the columns and different items on the row, and then we got total price. Additionally, what we can do is we can create a filter. So we move a region into the filter, and then we can filter by different regions. We can select multiple or just one. So this is end to our video. Hope you like the video, and if you do, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Bye for now.